Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony, and it is June 16th as we are recording this episode. Magic just announcing that they are declining a few options of our veteran players. But really, the big news is Magic shocking the world and starting off Father's Day extremely early with a massive Blockbuster trade. And it's probably better, Al, that we are recording this, past 24 hours after the news broke, because things are a little settled now. And I think that my reaction now is a little more tempered than it would have been immediately after finding out. So, Al, man, what's going on? How are you feeling? Big news, big moves. We're going to be jumping into this new season with definitely a different dynamic than we're used to seeing for this Magic team. So how are you feeling now, 24 hours post trade?
Man, what a day, right? Father's Day. I actually had just posted on our X account, do you think the Magic will make a trade before, during, or after the NBA draft? Put my phone away. I had family in town, and my phone, I kept hearing my phone just keep vibrating nonstop. I'm like, what's going on? Let me just go check. And dude, what a shock that was. What can I say, man? Did not see it coming. Once again, the Magic front office proves that no one knows anything about them. Not you, not me, no NBA expert, analyst, no one mentioned Desmond
CIA
Bane.
operatives. The way
wild.
that they move is like ninjas.
Did you even consider Desmond Bane as a possibility for the Magic?
No, I don't even think the Grizzlies considered Desmond Bane. The way that I view this whole entire thing is obviously this was a player that the Magic and even through the interviews that we heard from Weltman and Anthony Parker, this is a player that they've had an eye on for a long time, and they use the same terminology over and over, that they circle around the league and they have these conversations. And during one of these conversations, Bane's name came up, and I personally do not feel the way that this all sounds and how much the Magic gave up, because the initial reaction, right, is we don't have any details, right? It's 4 future first round picks, a pick swap for Desmond Bane, and you get this alert and you're like, what the hell are the Orlando Magic doing? For what? Right?
Yep.
So there's a sticker shock to it, because 4 unprotected is insane for Desmond Bane, right? It just is. The way that I found out was through our Patreon group chat. Shout out to you, Dylan, who said, "What the hell are the Orlando Magic doing?" And I question marked it, and he's like, "Look online, bro." And I look online, and it's like, holy shit, right? I send you a text message. You're not responding, like 20 minutes after the trade went down, Al, and I got no feedback from you. And it's like, dude, check your phone. But yeah, man, sticker price was a shocker. And I think that once the shock, really went down, is when you can really dissect and see that, this was obviously a really, really good move for the Magic. But yeah, man, I don't view this as a player that Desmond Bane was available for the Magic in a trade discussion until like Magic really deciding like, this is our guy, this is the missing piece. And this is kind of where the overpay kind of happens, right? Obviously there's other elements to that with KCP's contract coming off the books, and you got to do a little convincing and finessing. But man, you talk about a team that went out and got a player that they like, that they wanted, and they did what they had to do to get that player. And there's obviously a massive buzz from not just the fan base, not just the front office, Whether it's the NBA circles, whether they disagree with what we gave up or not, man, people are talking about the Orlando Magic, and you're hearing Orlando Magic and contention in the same sentence from all the big names, which I think is pretty cool. But obviously, the big talk is, was it too much? Is it worth it? Do you like Desmond Bane? Obviously, not the Anthony Simons, not the Kobe Whites, not the LaMelo Ball, or any of these crazy names that was associated with the Magic. How do you feel about the Magic going this direction?
So I got to say, my initial reaction was the same thing as yours. Like, again, between hosting family, making breakfast for them, I see my phone, I see 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, KCP, Cole Anthony. The players I'm cool with, right? We knew. We talked about it for weeks now, how Cole Anthony was going to be traded. We kind of felt that coming. KCP was not a name that I thought of maybe getting traded, but I was happy to see the name on the list. Not going to lie.
They just had him in the marketing when they came out with the new uniforms. They had him out. Not with his name across the back. If you remember, it said player. Right? It didn't say Pope, but yeah, wild.
So initial reaction was that, and then I went back to hosting my family. I think I told you, let me digest it. I'll get back later. And as the hours went by, man, the more I'm like, wait, like this guy averaged 20 points a game not too long ago. Wait, he averages 5 assists a game. Wait, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. Wait, he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. So the more I kept like just digesting the news, I'm like, wait, this makes a ton of sense. He's another playmaker. So he's like what we wanted, everything in one: the playmaker, the shooter, the scorer, and the defender. So we heard Jeff Weltman say, we're going to have to, compromise some defense to get some offense. And then you see this trade, you're like, wait, they didn't give up any defense to get some offense. They actually improved KCP, who he is as a player, a much younger version, a much better shooter, a much better scorer. So I'm like, this trade actually makes a ton of sense. Of course, I think me, you, and every Magic fan out there would have loved this package to get us, I don't know, a flashy name. Let's say Trae Young was in that list instead of Desmond Bane. All of a sudden would have been, hyped, right? But then later we would have been like, wait, he makes $45 million. Wait, he doesn't play any defense. Is he the right fit? I think it would have been the opposite reaction. But dude, like all the reactions on social media, on podcasts that I've listened to, the label I keep hearing is the perfect fit. And the more I digest the news, I'm like, he truly is the perfect fit with our team, not just today, but he's under contract for 4 more years. This is our core. The Orlando Magic, all of a sudden, we just woke up today. We are now actually contenders in the NBA for the first time in how long? Since 2010. It's been 15 years, guys. And all of a sudden, here we are.
Yeah, I think that's that's the thing to be excited about, right? You're not worried about, all right, how are the Magic going to try to convince this guy to stay with us in 2 years, 3 years? Nah, man, he's under contract for a minute. They're obviously going to need to figure out, how to make sure that they do their extension right with Paolo this offseason. But yeah, man, this is going to be a core group that they're going to be together for a minute. So obviously there's a lot to be excited about. I've already heard a lot of the key. I'm not going to go over each one, but a lot of the key stats where they're designated, being as a top shooter in the NBA. I think he was second to Steph Curry in spot up shots. I think that's one of the stats that I read. But he's high volume. And one of your issues that you've always talked about, that you brought out pretty often when it came to KCP, is that he was extremely low volume, high percentage, low volume. And this year we got low volume, low percentage, right? So you're obviously bringing in a player that not only can create his own shot, but he can create for others. He can put the ball on the floor. This dude is stocky. He's strong, and he can shoot the ball lights out, man. And this is something that is going to be huge, because last season there's been times where Paolo and Franz, they just needed help offensively. Like, we couldn't just rely on the two of them, because outside of those two, When Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner went down, they went on offense, right?
That's
They
it.
really struggled. So the way that I view this is that you're going to bring in a player that is going to be another creator that can really elevate himself in the times that we need him. God forbid we have to deal with another injury. This is somebody that's already averaging close to 20 points a game. You know, he can bring his offense up. He can bring it down to kind of fit with the team. And by the way, he also can play really good defense. So it's going to be huge. So my drawback, right? My issue with this trade, because no move is perfect, right? We obviously know that we gave up a lot, like a lot of draft picks, right? You have it on the screen right now. You got Orlando number 16 overall pick, Phoenix 2026 first round swap, Orlando 2028 and 2030 first round picks unprotected, Orlando 2029 first round pick swap. So obviously the Magic definitely giving up a lot. My only issue with this is that, you know, when you make this move, all the names that we've heard on what possible options the Magic may go is with the thought of Jalen Suggs being your shooting guard, right? And you bringing in an elite level point guard, right? Like Paolo Banchero last season was talking about, I need a table setter, like bring
Yep.
somebody in that can kind of run the point where it alleviates that pressure off of Paolo and off of Franz. And the Magic didn't go that route. You know, this is them confirming that Jalen Suggs is going to be your starting point guard. So that's really my only issue. No disrespect to Desmond Bane, no disrespect to anything, because Desmond Bane is a baller. My issue is how much we gave up, and also the fact that we didn't get that point guard, that true point guard. Now, Jalen, you can argue that Jalen Suggs, he played point guard in Gonzaga. He did a better job this year than he did previous years. And then my next argument to that is we need Jalen Suggs to be healthy, because now with the news coming out that Corey Joseph has been declined and Gary Harris' contract has been declined, the Magic are going to have to now go out there and get a very strong veteran point guard that can come off the bench and be able to alleviate in a lot of different ways from a ball handling perspective. But those are only my concerns. Do you have issues with the fact that the Magic didn't go after a point guard?
Not really. I think that Jalen Suggs, man, we truly did not get a chance to see Jalen Suggs adapt to being a point guard in the NBA. Unfortunately, he got injured way too early in the season, never came back. Another sneaky thing about this trade is that Jalen Suggs, again, is going to have the ball even less in his hands now, because you got Paolo, you got Franz. Desmond Bane, when Ja went down with his suspensions, his injuries, he was their playmaker. He was the guy that would run pick and rolls all game long. So he's used to being a playmaker also. So if you think about the order of operation with the Magic now, in my mind, is Paolo, Franz, Desmond Bane needing the ball in their hands. Jalen Suggs becomes who he was 2 years ago, which is a spot-up shooter. He is a guy that will just, again, play make a little bit. But now you gotta think the front office ran this by Paolo, Mike Miller, and he approved this move. You would assume, right? And if he did, I think he's cool with this new starting five. That's my take there. My drawbacks. Your reaction initially was the same as mine. The draft picks. Initially, that was my thought. Like, my goodness, 5 picks pretty much you traded here. But really analyze this. If you really digest it, this year's pick, we know what it is. It's a 16th pick. It's not unprotected. It's a 16th pick. We know what it is. Next year's Phoenix, you're betting on the fact that KD's going to be traded for nothing, pretty much, and they're going to struggle, and the pick will be a top 10 pick. That's not guaranteed. In my opinion, I think KD is going to get traded for a decent package. Phoenix may compete in the West. That won't be such a valuable asset. And then the Magic picks. Think about it. Those picks are going to be in Franz and Paolo's prime. Jalen Suggs as well. Bane will still be here, hopefully. So the Magic should not be anywhere near top 20 in draft picks for the next 5 years. So you traded all these picks really to be bottom tier first round picks in the drafts. And don't forget, to get a team to take on KCP's contract and even Cole Anthony, you had to give up something, right? Because they have pretty large deals. And let's not forget, guys, unfortunately, KCP and Cole Anthony were not productive players last year. In the playoffs,
Non-factors.
have you seen their stats in the playoffs last year? It was less than 5 points, shooting horribly. Like they were non-producers. So to get those guys off the roster, you got to give up something. So the way that I'm seeing it is we gave up KCP, Cole Anthony, 3 picks really in this trade, and then 2 picks to get them to take KCP and Cole Anthony off our hands and clear those contracts. That's the way that I'm seeing it. So yeah, definitely some drawbacks. That's definitely some like, ooh, what if injuries happen? What if this doesn't work out in the long run? But man, let's deal with today. I think today, when you look at our starting lineup right now, for sure, one of the top 3 in the East, without a doubt. Don't forget, again, the Celtics will be weaker. Milwaukee will be weaker. Let's see what happens with the Knicks. If the Magic can play to their potential and be healthy, this trade makes it all worth it. And we were just talking about that in our last episode. Will the Magic take advantage of the fact that the East is weak next year? We got our answer, man. They went for it. We've been bashing our front office for years. When is the big move coming? When is the big move coming? Here it is. And in my mind, this isn't it. Anthony Parker said today, we're not done yet, in an interview that he had with Brandon Kravitz. So, and look, they just waived Gary Harris. They just waived Corey Joseph. They have a roster open from this trade also. So all of a sudden, they have 3 open spots in their roster. All of a sudden, they have some picks. What are they going to do? So the next couple of weeks will be very interesting to see. Do they make another trade? Do they go in free agency and make some minor moves? But man, it's exciting right now to be a Magic fan, knowing that, again, we'll be actually a contending team, a team that's going to go into the season expecting to make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs.
Man, listen, this front office, they piss me off, right? When everyone is making moves at the NBA trade deadline, we don't do anything. And then when nobody's doing anything on Father's Day, they make these moves, right? But the feeling that you get when you see the news, when you start thinking about how this player can be incorporated with the team, and honestly, Waldman came out and told the world, like, we are going to be aggressive, and then literally a few weeks after, he says, hold my beer, watch me work. And obviously still he did a lot, had to give up a lot, but you're bringing in a player, and you're putting the rest of the NBA on notice that we're coming in to compete. Like, we're not playing it safe. And I think that that's been everyone's biggest issue and complaint with the front office, is that they have played it safe, right? We heard Bobby Marks. If you watch his recent video when he's talking about the trade, he talks about how the Magic really built this team threading the needle, taking their time, drafting players, getting them developed. And man, my God, what a slow process, right? And unfortunately, the Magic having to deal with injuries, and it's been tough. So the fact that the Magic went this route after, where they could have easily marked last season off as, we had a bad season because of the injuries that we had to deal with, and that's why we couldn't make it to the second round, whatever the case may be. The fact that they went out and made this decision was huge. You just mentioned it. Cole Anthony had a disaster of a season. KCP, we brought him in to be able to stretch the floor, to be able to add to our defensive identity, and he was just a disaster on the offensive side. It got better towards the end of the season, but at that point it was already too late. But even, again, your biggest complaint from the very beginning is that he's low volume. You're going to bring in a player that is way more than what you expected from KCP, like way more from every aspect. And I think that that's going to be the beautiful part, is the fact that his presence alone is going to allow for Paulo to be able to work more within his game and his sets. And you think about the pick and rolls that they're able to do together now. And Desmond Bane is a big body, man. This dude is he is stocky, and you see it. Like, I was just kind of refreshing some of his plays and his highlights, and the way that he drives, he puts that ball on the floor and drives to the basket in a manner that it's just big boy. And he's not a pushover either, man. He got a bunch of I don't want to kind of use the whole grit and grind thing, but he is that. We're transitioning this grit and grind to a hard and hustle, and he is somebody that he's not no pushover. He's gonna get in your face. Like he's gonna bring a roughness that the Magic really desperately need. And you pair that with, Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner, hopefully, just depending on whatever they decide to do with the rest of the roster. But man, it's going to be exciting to get him to be a part of those guys. And, we've already seen videos today of him being in our training facility and dapping up Coach Mose. And he looks happy. He looks excited. He got a chance to be able to see our new uniforms that we have, and he was hyped about it, talking about that. That's one of the best uniforms that he's ever played in, will play in. So it's exciting, man. There's a lot to be excited about. The Magic, again, giving up a whole lot, and they're betting on themselves. They're really doing that. They're not playing it safe. And we don't know what we don't know. But as of right now, there's a lot to be excited about, and the Magic are in the conversation. That's what we need.
I mean, you talk about the backcourt now, Jalen Suggs and Desmond Bane, the way they play, right? We thought we had it good with, with KCP and Jalen Suggs being physical, being aggressive. Think about it now, again, having Bane and Suggs in the backcourt, playing defense, being aggressive, being those leaders on the court. It's going to be exciting, man. I cannot wait to see that happen. I have the stats pulled up for those watching on YouTube for Desmond Bane right now. I mean, you look at the three-point shooting in his career, 43%, 43%, 40, 38, 39. And we're talking about the volume, right? The volume, you look at 6 attempts, 7, 8.6, 6.1. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what we needed. A guy that's going to get the ball, be open for 2 seconds and let it fly. And that's exactly what we needed. And I said it last year many times. KCP, great guy, great person. Unfortunately, didn't work out in Orlando. He wasn't what we needed. He wasn't that guy that, hey, I'm open, but the defense closed out on me. I'm going to go and drive to the basket and finish. That's not his game. He's going to shoot the open three, maybe shoot a mid-range, but he wasn't a scorer. This guy answers that for us. Very quickly, when you look at the stats real quick for Desmond Bane, what stands out to you? What, just numbers wise, what is something that you're excited about when you look at his stats?
I mean, really, is the fact that it's not just the shooting, man. You take a look at his rebounds, his career averages, or last season, 6.1 rebounds, 5.3 assists. So this dude is all over the board, and I think that's one unique aspect of being able to bring in a player that can not only help you offensively, like, and you mentioned it already. Wellman came out and said that we're going to sacrifice offense for defense. This is not sacrificing offense for defense. This is just bringing in a player that's amplifying what this team already does, but you're also adding the shooting perspective, the volume, the being able to put the ball on the floor. You're adding elements to the Orlando Magic that the Orlando Magic need, but still keeping the identity of this team. Coach Wellman talked about how this is a type of player that is a culture setter, right? And he's just amplifying. He's going to fit so perfectly because of how he plays, and it matches so well with the Magic. I just find it surprising how nobody, not one person, there's probably one person that I saw online that called Desmond, that called it right, Desmond Bane, a couple months back. But outside of that, nobody talked about Desmond Bane being a perfect fit. That name wasn't brought up, but it's because people were so focused on the fact that the Magic need a point guard. The Magic need a rim protector. Everyone was already set on Jalen Suggs being a two guard. But the dynamic of our team is the fact that Paulo is he's somebody that initiates the offense. Franz Wagner is going to be able to do that too. So Jalen Suggs is going to bring the ball down the court, but point guard by committee, everyone's going to be able to partake in being able to create the offense and get the offense going. So interesting dynamic. Not sure how that would work with other teams, but we have the personnel to be able to do that.
Now, I'll ask you one more question regarding the trade, and that is the names we heard: Anthony Simons, Jordan Poole, um, all the names we heard, right? When you look back and you now know this is the move that we made, did we get the better player? When you think about, again, Kobe White, those names that we kept hearing about possibilities of guys that could come to Orlando, did the Magic make the right move? By that I mean, did we get, again, a better player than those that we thought we could acquire? Or, again, do you think that there was something better out there we could have done trade-wise to help our team?
We won't know, and that's the thing. Desmond Bane was so left field that we don't know what conversations they had. The way that I view Desmond Bane is the Magic really wanted him, and we checked to see if he was available. We submitted an offer. We were told no. We upped the offer. We were told no. We upped the offer more. Still told no, and then we offered a Godfather offer. This is our final, take it or leave it. And it was just something that, Memphis just couldn't say no to. And I think that that's the biggest thing, right? Is that that's what I do love about this move, is that we did have to pay so much. And I've said this before, bringing in a Rashard Lewis type player, we had to overpay for it. Obviously, this isn't free agency. This is in a trade aspect, but we had to overpay to be able to get the player that we want. And the Magic did that, man. And you can tell that there's some real excitement about it. And Jeff Weltman, just to kind of read off of some of his quotes that he had from his press conference. The beauty of it is that not only did we keep our core, but we are very high on some of our other players. Some of the deals we discussed involved our core guys or a combination of our young guys. And honestly, some of the other players we were discussing didn't fit with our age profile. So, yeah, man, huge. The fact that you're able to keep your core players together, Paulo, Franz, Suggs, is massive. You can tell that the Magic are still really high on players like Anthony Black, on players like Tristan da Silva. I'm expecting for Tristan da Silva to have a bigger role this year. Another quote, AB, Tristan, Wendell, Goga, Jonathan, a lot of these guys have value, and we got calls on a lot of them. We need more calls on Wendell Carter Jr. That's an element that I'm hoping that the Magic continue to grow and find ways to improve this roster, and is finding a way to upgrade that 5 spot for this team. Jeff Womack goes on to say, to find a guy who fits exactly what we need and who is under contract for 4 years, those guys are really hard to find. He's not going anywhere for a long, long time. And what's cool is that when Desmond Bane found out that he was being traded, he was already in Florida. So not too far of a trip for him to stop by Orlando today.
Yeah, man. So again, you look at the quotes that the Weltman here shared with us this morning. The interesting one to me is he did say there were some offers out there that they got, but they had to part ways, whether it was Jalen or Franz. He just simply said one of our core guys. So whatever that means, right? And he also said some of our younger guys. So that would be AB, Tristan. And they said it. They were not ready to part ways with those guys just yet. They like him a lot. The intriguing part is when he talks about the guys that we would have gotten in those deals did not fit our what was the exact quote? Age profile. So I'm like, older guys that would require such a package, like who could those guys have been? Right? Like you start thinking now, like who could we have traded for? Older guy that would have come to Orlando. And again, not fit our age profile. But again, I definitely believe that they made the right decision here. I think Bane is going to fit in perfectly here in Orlando. It's exciting, man. I think the next phase now is, what do we do next? Right now, we saw that we let go of, at least for now, Gary Harris, Corey Joseph. But what do we do next? How do we build this roster now around our core guys, some of the young guys? We need some vets. That's my thing. We need some vets. I've seen it thrown out there on X, quite a few, and that is a package of potentially Jonathan Isaac, let's say, a Jet Howard maybe, and the 25th pick going to Sacramento for a guy like Malik Monk. Now, you make a trade like that, man, and now you added also Bane to our roster. all of a sudden now you're really, really going for it. Now you're adding a six-man of the year candidate. Now you're adding a shooting guard that is a stud in this league, a potential all-star in the Eastern Conference. Had he been in the East this whole time, I think that would be a perfect move. We're still lacking that offensive punch off the bench from a guard. So I'm intrigued by that. And we've talked about it before too. Wendell Carter, is he the guy you're going forward with and saying he is our starting center? I'm not quite sure they're quite there. So we might see at least one more move. And then, of course, the draft free agency here in the next few weeks. But I'll ask you that. Do you see the Magic making one more trade to kind of keep building around this roster? Or do you think they're pretty much set at this point?
No, I think that there's still options out there. The one that I saw online, or it might have been from Yadi. What's up, Yadi? Who said don't connect for Gogo Pataze. It can't just be Desmond Bane. One player cannot change, how bad we have shot, right? It's going to take some additional, maybe in one or two other moves, right? Whether that's through the draft, whether that's through free agency, whether that's through trade. It's going to take, those movements. It's going to take, obviously, Desmond Bane bringing what he's done before, and pray to God that it's not, a KCP situation where he's just a completely different player under our system. And it's going to take, the rest of our players getting better, Franz getting better, Paulo getting better, Jalen Suggs being able to still continue that same rhythm from his shooting, in our bench as well. So it's going to take a lot for us to be able to get out of that slump, right? We talked about, the one of the most important moves that the Magic can do next is going to be finding, our lead assistant. That's going to be huge. Someone that can help Coach Mose on the offensive end. So, Magic, this is just the start of it, right? This might be the biggest move, or this will be the biggest move that we do. But there's still so much more that needs to be done to be able to really round out this roster.
Yeah, man. I think again we're just starting, right? And again, it's way too early. I did not expect the Magic to make a move this early into the offseason. I really expected it to be maybe the day of the draft, the day before the draft. So the fact they made this move already tells me they got something else cooking, whatever it might be. Don't forget, starting yesterday, actually, teams can start negotiating with their own free agents. So I wonder, do the Magic already have a deal kind of with Mo Wagner? So they're kind of clearing up some cap space for that. We know the NBA. The teams talk, players talk, agents talk. Do the Magic already have a deal with a free agent that potentially already said, yes, I'll go to Orlando. I want to be there. So a lot to come over the next 2 weeks. We have the draft in a week. A week and a half later, in a week and a half from today, we have free agents starting. So it's like, it's going to come at us in waves here, all these moves, all this roster construction. But exciting. I just saw that. I think Steven posted this on our page. Let me just share it here once again. The number of actual just guards in our roster right now. So when you think about who we have after moving, after the trade and after the guys we waived today, we only have now Suggs, Bane, Anthony Black, and Jet Howard as guards in our roster right now. So there'll be some moves for sure happening here over the next few weeks. But it's to me still shocking to see Bane listed in our roster. That doesn't seem real to me still.
It's gonna take a little while for us to be able to get used to this new look of the Orlando Magic. In addition to this new marketing, this new refresh that we've received as well. So again, just a lot to be excited about. Desmond Bane is in Orlando, bringing shooting with him, high volume shooting, and a different dynamic that's going to really open it up for the rest of this team. Man, we apologize that this reaction came a lot later than we wanted to. Life happens. Father's Day, we just getting back from vacation. Really bad timing, Jeff. Man, you could have waited just one more day, and it would have been easier for a lot of people in the NBA world. But man, really big move for the Magic. Magic contention. Guys are out there talking about Magic shooting for the finals, man, and for us to be even think about that, that's where we're at. Coming from where we've come from is fun to at least hear that conversation. Man, we'd love to hear everyone's reaction to the news. Leave it down in the comments below if you're on YouTube. Send us comments and DMs. Give us your feedback. We love hearing any feedback that we can and all the reaction. On that note, it's a wrap, man. I appreciate everyone for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
For all the latest Magic news and updates, visit OrlandoMagicHQ.com and follow us on Instagram at Orlando Magic HQ and on Twitter at OMagicHQ. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform.